Hello, good evening, televiewers. Welcome to Prime R for today, Tuesday, the 21st of June, 2022. We are this evening going to be looking at two topics that are touching on the lives of couples. We're going to be looking at the wife side chick struggle that is actually shaking families across Cameroon and the world today. How do we manage such issues? We also are going to be looking at the scope, importance, and challenges of accountability in couples. With our panelists, they're going to be explaining what accountability is all about and how difficult it is to be accountable to one another. But once we do it, how is it beneficial for the survival of a couple? I am going to be introducing our panelists for tonight. We have Reverend Tatoh Kenneth, who is in the house, is an expert in this domain. We're glad to have you, Reverend.
I'm also glad to be here, Mr. Leo. Good evening to Apostle Esingie. Good evening to our viewers. When the Lord always grants us this opportunity, we come wholeheartedly, and we trust that as we share again this evening, and we believe that our viewers, as they get glued to their screens, they will be edified and value will be added to humanity.
Apostle Afred Esingie is in the house with us. He is also an expert in this domain. We're glad to have you, Apostle.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, Reverend Tatoh. We are so glad to know that we are doing a lot of work in the lives of people, and that's why we are always, ready to come again and again to talk to you. Today is another session.
Okay, we are going to be having contributions from the men that through Ms. Asanji Yvette, who is also a counselor on marital issues. Reverend Tatoh, I would like to start with you. When we talk about accountability, can we change the topic on our screen? So we are starting with the other topic. When we talk of accountability in a couple, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I think one of the things that cause a lot of problems in marriage today is that many people have gotten married and they still want to live their lives as singles when it comes to this issue of accountability. You see, when you are a single, you live your life the way you want. You can retire at midnight, maybe, especially those who are already independent, who are autonomous from their parents. You can spend your money the way you want. You can answer any kind of call. You can chat with whoever to whatever extent, and you have no one to put you in check. But when you get married, there is this very important aspect called accountability. Accountability is that need or that obligation for you to submit or to subject aspects of your life or your life in general to the follow-up of another person, giving reports, giving updates, having the possibility of being checked. That is accountability. You see, when people get married, there is a need to have the eyes of one another on the other. That is, a wife is supposed to, have an eye on the husband, while the husband too has an eye on the man. And you are not supposed to just live your life as if you were still single. You function as if there is another person whose life is affected by your own way of living. You see, there are people who live home, and let's say they've gone to work and they only retire at 1 a.m. and their spouse does not know where they've been. So this is lack of accountability. Accountability demands that when you are doing one thing or the other, your spouse is supposed to at least be aware that this is what you are doing. Your spouse is supposed to at least be a part of what you are doing in one way or the other. And your spouse is supposed to many a time even vouch in what you are doing. That's accountability. And many marriages are actually into problems today because this aspect of accountability has been ignored by many people. A man wants to spend the way he likes. A woman wants to, just function the way she likes. She has maybe women meeting in church and leaves the women meeting, goes for extra meeting. The husband is at home, does not know where she is, and it looks like she is the alpha and the omega of her life. That is the lack of accountability we're talking about, and which we're saying that it is a key factor within the ranks of marriage. That when people get married, they are supposed to be accountable to one another. And talking about the scope of accountability, you are supposed to be financially accountable to your spouse. You are supposed to be accountable in terms of the management of your time. You're supposed to be accountable in terms of the management of other relationships. You're not supposed to just function, let's say, especially with the opposite sex, you just function without your spouse having at least a clue of some people that you are functioning with at close range. So this is the issue of accountability we are talking about, and it goes somehow hand in glove with transparency. Within the ranks of marriage, when you function as an island, there will be a lot of suspicion. Your wife does not know what you're doing, your husband does not know what you're doing. There's a lot of suspicion, there's a lot of cloudiness in the air, and at times a man who is earning 50,000, the wife may be thinking that this man earns about 350,000 because you go out of the house very early in the morning, you come back late, and your wife does not know how much you earn. We've spoken with couples who don't know the revenue of one another. So when it's like that, there are suspicions. There is a suspicion that will be going on something maybe you didn't do or what you are not doing, of which if you are accountable and transparent and you could say this thing is this is my pay, your spouse will know it and it will culture the person's expectations. There are moments that people will leave work, for instance, a man will leave work, go and drink with friends. You see, he sat just with friends and they were just hanging out. And since you are not accountable to your spouse to say, as I left with my wife, this is where I am, your wife will be thinking that maybe you are hanging with one side chick somewhere. And she will start, trying to read between the lines over something that you could easily say, this is where I am, or this is what I am doing at this particular time. And it will clear the air and get some things, off rails, rather than staying in a cloudy atmosphere and making somebody to be suspecting you. So accountability is key. It's very, very important within the ranks of every relationship. There are people who, by virtue of their resources, the resources they have, they just decide to go and buy a piece of land, and your wife does not know that you have a piece of land somewhere. Yes, there are people who have, had that kind of, investment somewhere, and at the end of the day, their wife is being told by a third party. So we are discouraging it.
Apostle Afred, should there be limits to how accountable we should be to our partner in the house?
Yes, what we were taught before is actually different from the practicals that we see today.
Okay.
Especially the things that we were taught in the church concerning marriage and family, how you have to be accountable to yourselves. There is actually a time to be accountable, and there is actually a time when you don't have a choice than to flow with the trend of things that are moving around. It's just like I want to know about my wife who works, and her job is to deal with clients of different kinds, and then you need to tell me about everybody that you talk to, everywhere you want to go for meetings. You want to tell me about some details, those kind of details. I think it is really uncalled for, because I cannot, it is sometimes too hectic. Every small thing you want to, I'm here now, we are talking with one client, and we are talking about this, and we are talking about this. Okay, now I just left there now, I went to the market to pick some things, and you left, and so accountability to that extent is too cumbersome. And at least it weighs down marriage, and it's like a burden on people. That is why you see a lot of women think that accountability means that the man has to tell you everything about every move, about every person you talk to, about everywhere you go to. Yes, it is good if it can be done, but practically speaking, those things are not possible, except you want to warn out people, or you yourself, you want to warn out yourself, but you want to call every minute to tell. Where are you now? Where are you going to? This and this and this. Most of the times, my wife used to really wonder why I don't ask all those kind of details. Why I don't want to, find out. Sometimes she comes around 9:30. Sometimes she comes around 10, and she expects that I'm going to be calling. Where are you now? How those kind of things. I told her, I said, no, I will not be doing that. Because I know that if you are going to be late, you're supposed to tell me that I'm going to be late, I will not come early. So, but the fact that you didn't call me, it means that you think I should give you ample space so that you can carry out your assignment, knowing that the kind of person you are and the kind of position you occupy in the society. So that is it. These people who don't have jobs are mostly people who can do this accountability to a very high level. They don't have a job. They don't have something to do. When you are not busy, you have time to want to find out where somebody went to, who they are talking to now, you know, the message they send to their phone, the one that, you know, that is the kind of problem that come into so many homes and so many marriages, because they want to be wondering about some details. Imagine somebody will be in America and want to control the husband who is here or the wife who is here, and you want to be checking minute for minute, sending the neighbors to go and check where she is now and what she is doing at that time. It is uncalled for. You are stressing yourself and putting yourself under pressure for nothing. Sometimes we just need to have faith on the people we are dealing with. Sometimes we just need to, we don't need to trust them. For example, I know the kind of jobs that we do. I know the kind of places we go. I cannot get up and say, no, I want to find out where my wife is now. Where is she now? And then she tells me that she's talking with a man. Why are you talking with a man now? At that particular point in time, you will have a lot of problems. Because when you start getting professional, it will be so difficult to give detailed accountability. Sometimes you will just come and give a summary of how your day was or how your week has been. Those kind of summaries are okay because it is not even detailed to an extent. And sometimes you are not even that so free, because you are tired and you're trying to, like, okay, you want to rest, and the few things you want to think for yourself, and somebody is giving you recountable. And women like those kind of things. They wonder when they are talking, you should listen to them. Yes, they wonder. Yes, they'll be the talk, you know, the talk, you don't want to talk to me. You say, no, but I have other things in my head now that are running. I don't know how I'm going to cope about that, but at least you should be able to listen to me, you know, and that kind of thing. So I think that it is very improper to think that a man or a woman should tell you every detail about their day or wherever they are going to.
They should not keep secrets. Okay, you are saying that there are some secrets that we will not get. But let's get Mr. Asanji also coming from Bomenda. Tell us what she thinks about accountability in a couple.
Hello, Mr. Leo. Greetings to you. Greetings to my co-panelists, and greetings to our televiewers. Accountability is about giving accounts of what you plan to do, you know, not just what you have done. Because this is where most people find it, maybe they don't understand. There is a difference between telling your spouse what you plan to do and informing them of what you have already done. So accountability is not just about you giving facts or giving an account of what you have done. It equally involves you telling your spouse what you plan to do, what are your goals, what are your plans for the day, what is your program for the day looking like. So the Bible talks about the two becoming one. There is a kind of oneness in marriage that it cannot be accomplished if both spouses are not accountable to each other. If the spouses are not accountable to each other, they cannot enjoy that level of oneness. It's just like accountability is just like you tie, you know, okay, these two different hands, you tie a rope to the two different hands. You know, they feel connected. So accountability gives a kind of emotional connection. You feel connected to each other. You feel one with each other. And one thing about accountability is that it helps to reduce unnecessary conflicts. Like, for example, okay, if I have my husband's program for the day, or let's say you have your wife's program or your husband's program for the day, and then you already know that, okay, throughout this day, they'll be at work, from work, they'll pass through the market, maybe from the market, they'll go to church, or from church, they'll pass through the bank. When you have this all at the back of your mind, it's like you are not with them, but they are in your mind. And so if something happens now, and maybe you happen to call and they can't pick up, you might remember and say, okay, yeah, he said he will be at the bank at this time, or he will be in church at this time. So just the fact that you call and they didn't pick up already just helps answer the question of the fact that they told you they will be maybe in church, maybe after work or so. So accountability helps to reduce conflicts. Many people think that being accountable means being under control. Like, for example, a man will not want to tell his wife, I will go here, go here, go here, go here to them. They think that that woman is controlling me. It is not a matter of control. It's a matter of building trust. Once you're accountable to your spouse, it brings harmony. It brings transparency. it builds trust. I mean, the kind of solid trust that you already know that your spouse was supposed to be at the bank, for example. And if somebody happens to come and tell you, hey, do you know that I met your wife at the bank or I met your wife in front of this bank or in front of this hotel with one man like this. Let's say the hotel is beside the bank. Okay, I'm just giving like an example. You already know that your spouse told you they will be around that place. So, yes, I know that my spouse is there. You will not have to start thinking, oh, so what is he doing there? He did not even tell me that he's going to that hotel, or she did not even tell me that she will be around that place, you know. And so that's how it begins to bring in like suspicion, and then suspicion comes and does what? It kills trust. So accountability helps a lot. Being accountable doesn't make you like, it doesn't mean you are under control or you are being controlled by anybody. It means you love your spouse to the extent where you just want to, you know, be emotionally connected to them. They know what you are doing at what time. Now, it is also good to also maybe give your spouse a call. Maybe I'm rushing to the market to do one or two things. I'll be back by so time. Or I'm rushing to church. Or something came up and I have to attend to it. And then should in case something came up and you were not able to call your spouse on time, maybe because due to the emergency of the thing, if you now get back to your spouse later on, babe, something came up and there was no time I could communicate with you, so I just had to go do it, and this is what I have done, this is what I have done, this is what I have done. So once you are able to to be accountable in this way, you feel that oneness that the Bible talks about in marriage. And without that, there is no oneness. You cannot enjoy that kind of oneness that the Bible mentions. I'll be coming back to talk about the areas that you need to be accountable in.
Areas where we have to be accountable in. But let us talk about accountability. Where do we put accountability? Suspicion and trust. If you trust, must accounts be rendered to the least? Does it not also raise the issue of suspicion on every move of either the husband or the wife?
No. I think this aspect of accountability is a little trickier than it appears from what we are discussing. As a couple, there are also issues that when you people get married, you have to agree on certain things. Now, when you're talking about accountability in light of suspicion, somebody who has no skeleton in the cupboard has nothing to hide. Most often, some people don't want to be accountable because they have K-legs in their movements, they have K-legs in the way they're handling some things. So that's why they don't want to be accountable, because when they will say maybe some other questions will be asked to probe into matters relating to them. So I think if somebody is actually, sincere, you will not have problems being accountable. I just want to illustrate it this way. Take, for instance, like Madam Asanji said a while ago, I am to leave work and stop by to visit with the family. There is nothing in me updating my spouse that as I left work, I did not finally stop by to visit with this family because I had this friend who came in maybe from out of the country and I had to sit to discuss with him a little since he's going to be traveling back soon, and so on and so forth. But when people start getting so averse to accountability, it is because they think if I keep telling my wife that these are my movements, the day I want to move and see my side chick, she will surely, it will be too glaring for her because she knows all my moves. So it's better I create an atmosphere that is cloudy so that when I do whatever I'm doing, it just fits into the puzzle. So I think people who are sincere in heart, accountability won't be a problem for them. We are not saying that when you cough, you give account. When you sneeze, you give an account. No, we are saying that there are major issues as far as you are concerned. When you were single, you could manage your life the way you wanted to manage it. But now that you are married, know that there is somebody who is expecting you. For instance, a woman may finish from her own work site and is rushing back home because she needs your company. You won't want to come and sit back home, and then you come, she's calling you, maybe you're not picking up, maybe sitting and drinking with friends, and like, this woman disturb, and then you won't pick her calls. She has a right to be mad at you for that. So accountability is something that if people could understand.
Are you saying she was calling because she wanted to know where you were at the moment?
It's her right.
Okay.
It's her right. You are married to me, you have every right to know where I am.
Okay.
I have rights to know where you are. So
Okay.
it's not an issue of suspicion here. It's not an issue of suspicion. So the aspect of accountability being taken lightly for reasons of maybe wanting to slot in an evil agenda is different from the fact that if you have, maybe because as we grow in couple life, there are many other areas that, you know, it will be difficult to give details. Now we're talking about giving relevant details, and especially this aspect of having updates of where each and every, in fact, both of you are at a particular time T. Both of you should be able to know that my spouse is here and doing this. You see, we have had issues with resource management. There are many people who have died and money has gotten missing in banks because they didn't want to be transparent and accountable. They have saved money in accounts and they say, my wife would disturb me if she knows that I have saved money here. So they have died and maybe, you know, there is no contact anywhere and the money gets missing. There are people who have owed people, those who are dishonest. Let's say somebody owes me today and I'm no more. My wife is not aware of this. The person who, you know, will surely stay with the funds. But if my wife were aware, we know that there's a continuity. So one of the reasons that we're supposed to be accountable is to create a kind of continuity of processes, succession, and all the like. There is no reason and no need to be, you know, wanting to be cloudy over it, except that you know there is a skeleton in your cupboard. That is when.
What if you live with either your husband, who is outrightly very, to some extent, irresponsible, or a wife who is also very irresponsible, and you think that there are some information that they may put your life to risk, like he raised about maybe your husband is doing something that is professional and maybe the wife is poking the nose into it, or the husband is poking their nose into it, which may also put their profession and other things at risk.
No, that is completely a different thing. We're talking about accountability in relation to your profession, I mean to your couple life, not profession. No,
okay.
There are professions that the ethics, yes, the deontology of that profession. So you don't divulge information. That one is very normal and it is clear. But if it comes to a point where I don't know, I don't have information about my spouse, or about what she does, about, you know, in terms of what relates to our couple life, there is a problem.
Okay, but now, what if the husband is actually very irresponsible? I've seen cases where the least money that the wife has, the husband takes it to go drink, and then vice versa. Once the husband has money, that the money must come for the wife to use. How do you manage that? Because you need to be accountable.
Yes, in that particular aspect, one, there is need for that couple to have some drilling on financial management issues. One, then two, I can tell you that I have this much, and I won't give you, or I won't put it at your disposal.
You will sleep in that house. Will you sleep in that house? When there is money. Man of God.
Now,
yes.
look at it from this angle. No, what I'm saying in essence is this: you must compare two things.
Okay.
The advantages that are linked to hiding some of these things, and the disadvantages. You can create. You can
call it hiding. It's the hiding part of it that is not making it good.
That you are not financially accountable to your spouse. That you because that one, I want to say this: the financial management template of every couple is there. If we agree that you bring your earnings, I bring my earnings, and we manage them together, and you keep by the side, there is a problem. But if we are shared responsibility that this is what you do, that's another thing.
No. What you are saying is like any other economic theory where they say ceteris paribus, all things being equal, where the husband is responsible, the wife is also very responsible. But we have cases of women who, you know, they want to buy this, that, and as long as they know where the money is in the house, they must get it. And we also have husbands who would not let their wives be when they have money?
Look, Mr. Leo, I am of this opinion that understand your spouse.
Okay.
And know what is important to tell them and what is not important to tell them.
Okay.
I'm of that opinion. Because we are in a society where things are very complex. Not everybody is cultured. For example, Reverend Kenneth is coming from a cultured background. His life processes have been that of culture and discipline, and his living abroad also has helped him in that particular domain. Now, those who grow in the ghettos, in the Cameroons, who are not exposed to so many things, if you want to go by this accountability principle, that you say, no, because it's my wife or because it's my husband, I will tell them every detail of how it goes. You will have a lot of unaccomplished businesses. Because let's say you want to talk. I know of people who have driven people from the church. I know their wives have driven people from the church because they are talking with the husband. It is happening. You know, we get to a point where we understand that my wife, if I tell my wife about this particular venture I want to do, maybe this kind of good thing I want to do, it's going to cause a lot of problem. I do it, then maybe I tell her after. Or maybe I don't tell her because it's not going to help. It's not going to do anything to promote marriage and coherence. Now, knowing your spouse is very important. Do you know that there are some people you go and open up to? You regret why you ever told them what you told them. Because they will be using that against you every day. Instead for the marriage to go in front, it will be going backward. We also know that they are disciplined people. We also know that there are people who are very disciplined. You have spoken in this area of finances. Finance is just one of them. There are other so many things. This area of finances, women always have the tendency of always wanting to know what the husband has. But they don't want the husband to worry about what they have. It is a statistical something that can be proven. That women, they say money for woman I own. But money for man piki own. Now all we will own. You have heard this story, this talk before. Women can search the husband's pockets, search the husband's bag and everything to touch, but their own bag, they say that a woman in bag, they need to touch her. So wait today for woman in bag, they need to touch her. Now diamond in head day for day on a wait today for inside that bag. You understand? So I want to say that when we want to make marriage to be sweet and balanced, it's just to understand who you have around you and work with them according to knowledge. That's what the Bible says. Deal with them according to knowledge. What does it mean according to knowledge? It's how you know your wife operates. You're not going to deal with every woman the same. You're going to deal with your wife according to knowledge. I know my wife is the kind of person that will hold money. I'm not talking about, maybe I'm just quoting an example of a situation. You know, you hold money today and before it's tomorrow, you have butchered everything. You have butchered everything. Now, and then something comes up, you go and give. The next minute you want to ask, I spend it. I spend it. But money will come now. Money will come, we will use it. Now, you have that kind of a testimony. Highest you would do is, okay, this money, let me keep it. It will serve much problem to the society than to our situation than what maybe we would direct. We want to go to all those details, all those small details. Concerning salaries, there are fixed salaries that we already know that at the end of the month or this period, this person will be getting this and this and this. But there are some things that you should not be putting your eyes on. You should not be expecting all the details. I'm saying this because many homes are suffering on this kind of thing. Now, just imagine, some of you are having jobs that warrant some tips and everything. Maybe at your job site, somebody give you 2,000, somebody give you 1,000, somebody give you 5,000, somebody dash you 10,000. And you come back to your house and tell your wife about all the tips that were given to you today at the office. Okay, so take an add for a family table. Those kind of realities are good, but it would not be proper to an extent. Because you have given your wife an opportunity that you may not be able to manage it at a later on. Especially if both of you are not on the same cultural background and the same cultural terms. There are some women from some tribes that if you marry them and you come to your home, highest you will do is to put some laws and some barriers and some things in order to keep your home going. If not, you will divorce. If not, things will go wrong. If not, the children will suffer tomorrow because you did not put some barriers and some things. I'm saying these things because it is very clear. We are Africans, and we must be operating according to our people, how they operate. Somebody will come, just take for example, when he deals with in-laws and everything. You tell your wife this, and you know that your wife is a person that talks too much, and she tells her mother everything, because some women think that talking with their mother and confiding with them is a good thing. Then everything that goes on in your house, your mother-in-law knows. Your sister-in-laws, they know what is happening in your house and those kind of things. Then you say now that you will come and begin to give accountability for everything. Well, I am not trying to be very religious, because if I'm religious, I'm teaching church people, I will tell them to be very accountable and try to put them, because I know that church people may want to have that kind of discipline. But in the general context where I'm talking like this, I know many people are involved, and so many of these things have been coming up for us for counseling, and we have seen how they are failing. Those kind of little accountabilities, which at the end of the day may not even yield fruits, or may even cause more problems to marriages than what you can think. It's what I am talking about. I have really seen it, that some things, we have been married for many years. We have seen people who have been married, and we have seen what they have gone through. You are a counselor. You talk to a lot of people.
Now, accountability. You are rendering account to almost everything to your wife, and same for the wife, who should do same for the husband. But we know that some husbands will also share some of these things with their friends, and some wives will share with their friends and family. And are you not also telling your story to almost everybody?
Mr. Leo, the issue is that what I believe in is when something is right, there is a kind of force right things have.
Okay.
Yes. I agree with Apostle Esingie just to an extent, because if you get married to somebody and the approach you adopt 100% is that you want to deal with the person based on knowledge. Yes. It means you want to, rather than working on the improvement of your home, you are rather building coping mechanisms. That is a dangerous approach within the context of couple life. You are building a coping mechanism. Okay, this person, let me just manage the person this way. It's like you won't point out that this aspect of you needs to be changed, so that both of you are helping one another, becoming better versions of yourselves by the day.
Have you seen a situation where you tell somebody one thing 10 times?
Yes.
And they don't hear it?
No, it happens.
In the marriage, it happens.
It happens.
So what do?
It happens.
You copy it.
No, the issue is that there are people who have been hardened over one matter for a very long time, and one day came, by virtue of your talking and praying for them and counseling with them and getting other people to talk to them, they change by virtue of that. It happens. So what I'm simply saying is this: if you look at somebody who is not wanting to be accountable for one reason or the other, the issue with the person is that the person has something to hide. People who don't have something to hide will scarcely want to be averse to being accountable. One. Then two, it might, as you talk about cultural realities, very true. It might just be that that is not a cultural reality in terms of that person. He has not grown up within a context where, there is accountability. Maybe he or she grew in that home where everybody gets out in the morning and disperse. Whether you came back or you didn't come back, nobody cares, and so on. So they begin to adopt that as a cultural practice to life. So if you marry such a person, it is your responsibility to an extent to see how you pull the person along, because one thing that happens in couple life is helping one another become a better version of themselves. Nobody will have it all, but you'll be helping one another. Yeah. So the aspect of sharing with somebody and the person ends up talking to a friend, they will be telling you not even share with the person will still take them out. Okay. So your role of being accountable is not supposed to be defeated by the fact that you are, but one thing I want to say is, some of these things go with seasons. It goes with timing. There will be an appropriate time that you will inform somebody about something, but the aspect of hiding all along has many disadvantages.
Okay, let us get the advantages, why it is very important to be accountable to one another in the house, from Mr. Asanji Yvette.
Mr. Leo, couples have to be accountable with everything. That's building transparency. So they have to be accountable with their time. Just like I mentioned, if you have to go somewhere, how are you planning to spend your day? Who are you going to be meeting up with? Which meetings are you going to be attending? You need to be accountable with your time. You need to let your spouse know everything about what you plan to do for that day. Couples also need to be accountable with money. This is one key area where most couples find it a serious challenge. Talking about finances, handling finances, managing finances. It's a serious issue. Talk less of being accountable. Now you hear a spouse tell you, I had 100,000. I can remember that I did this and did that for 40,000, but what is left is 30,000. I cannot account for what for the remaining 30,000. You know, now being accountable doesn't mean your spouse is controlling the finances. It's just building transparency. It's normal that in some marriages, if a husband tells the wife, I don't have money, the wife believes the husband. Why? Because the husband has been transparent. The husband has been accountable with finances. Likewise, if the husband asks the wife for money and the wife says, I don't have money, the husband understands. But we have cases where if the husband says, I don't have money, the wife will say, even if the wife should accept it for peace to reign, deep in them, they know that that man is lying. Why? Is because even when the man has the money or when he does not have, nobody knows. Now, we'll talk about finances, we'll also talk about bank accounts. This is one thing, most people always think that they can have accounts, bank accounts, and let their spouses don't know about them. Maybe because maybe the wife is materialistic or the husband is a spending type and so on and so forth. But there is a lot of risk involved not telling your spouse. The risk involved not telling your spouse is that should in case anything happens to you, you know, the next person, the only person that can stand in your shoes and say that there's 100,000 here, there's 50,000 here, there's 1 million here, the only person that can stand on your behalf and say those things is your wife or is your husband, is your spouse, not even your friends. If anything happens to you today, your spouse will be the next person to stand in your shoes and resume or assume the responsibilities that you have been handling and continue from there. So most often spouses think that hiding it from each other is the best thing, but they don't know that if anything happens to them, some of those accounts might just go missing or whatever. So you must be accountable with finances. Another area you need to be accountable with is your relationship with others. You cannot have friends of the opposite sex that your spouse doesn't know of. Who are these people? Let's say as a wife, you tell your spouse that, okay, he's my male friend. A male friend that has been chatting with you over the phone and your husband has never known about him. Or a female friend that you have been. So you have female friends or friends of the opposite sex that your spouse doesn't even know them. You need to be accountable. Let your friends of the opposite sex meet. If it's true that they are just friends, let them meet your spouse. Introduce them to your spouse. Let your spouse know that, okay, you have a friend of an opposite sex called Peter, James, and this, or Elizabeth, and this. So one area of accountability is your relationship with others, especially those of the opposite sex. Then you also have the role in relationship. Sometimes some spouses might agree that, okay, you take care of maybe food, feeding and electricity, water bills, everything bills, while I take care of the rent, education. At the end of the day, whoever is doing what, you still have to give account. I have paid the rents for the month. I have paid the bills for the month. I have done this. You still need to give account to each other. In a case where both of you are managing everything, you still need to be accountable. So accountability is about communication. That means in the absence of communication, you cannot be accountable. There cannot be an accountability without communication. So proper accountability will take place where there is proper communication.
proper communication. Now how do we get ourselves to be accountable to our partners? Because the situation, whatever we are saying here, many persons are not accountable to their partners to a greater extent. How do we fix this situation? Very briefly, so that we move on to our second topic.
Yes, you must also know that where we are coming from, what's our culture, how we go about it. For example, there are some tribes and some particular regions who think that the wife ought not to know anything about them. It is normal. So to go and tell them now to come and be telling their wives every nitty-gritty is a problem. It will instead add more problem in homes. So to me, I just think we should be able to understand people and their cultures, and we see how to help them, to tell them at least the most important things which are necessary for society. I have seen even educated people, they think that they owe you no account. We have seen cases here where people are calling us from different places, from Limbe, from Yaoundé, that I'm with a husband in the house. He doesn't even talk to me. Somebody that does not talk to you is accountable how? So how do we get to know this? We find out where you go. Please, at least tell me where you are, so that in case of anything that happens to you, I can know. Tell me about your situation, financial situation. In case of anything happens tomorrow, one will understand. Tell me about some 1 or 2 meetings that you are involved with, the people, your friends, and some kind of things. I'm supposed to know all those details, at least when it comes to friendship, some kind of things, because those are the things I don't play with my wife. My wife knows all my friends and knows the people I talk with regularly. So that in case of anything, she knows that my husband is always with this person. Anything that happens, this is what happens. So, but when it goes to some kind of things, I am telling you the truth. I don't see myself coming to ask my wife that how much they do for bank today, how much they will give me a whole lot. Because that one, she'll hold it. Sometimes she want to come home, she'll bought some things. I'll not come and ask you, so say again money, buy it in there, so, or that kind of thing there. It will be uncalled for. It's just for dynamism, to be able to be dynamic and understand that, okay, you cannot go and be asking for any detail so that you don't get yourself worked up and get yourself hurt. Am I saying that we should not be able to get accountability to a very greater extent? I am saying that no. I am saying it. While we are trying to be accountable, we should deal with the spouse according to knowledge. Know what can really help them or what they can do. Because I'm seeing like what Madame Yvette is talking, Madame Asanji is talking. She's talking from the point of a woman who believes that a man must be accountable to all. If she wants to be realistic as a counselor, she will tell you that even right up there in Bamenda where she is, that is not the culture there. It's not the culture. That's not the system where people were raised. So trying to tell people now that that is what it's supposed to be, and get a woman trying to force a husband who has been raised in a different culture, there will always be conflict. There will always be challenges. Don't try to force yourself to get this thing from everybody. Like I was trying to do I was counseling somebody in Canada on the issue of marriage and something like that. And I told her about one of my friends who is a pastor and that kind of a thing. And then she asked, is the wife this? I say yes. I said no, I don't want to talk to them. I said why? He said I cannot talk to that person because of the wife. You understand? Now some people prefer that you don't take my thing and tell to your wife and some kind of things. Now I am talking with somebody constantly. My wife will want to know that who is this person you are talking to and what are you people talking about. Oh, this is this person. We are doing counseling. Is it counseling for what? I want to know everything that you people are doing in counseling and this thing. It is not realistic. Those things are not realistic. Because this girl, I've talked with this girl for a long time. And then only when I mentioned that particular friend that I wanted to relate with them, so that since they are closer, they can be able to help her better. She said, no, because of that wife, I will not be able to accept that whole thing. That is exactly what I got. Not long from, I think it's about 2-3 days now. I was shocked. I told her, well, therefore you don't need help. Because if you needed help, you would not even be talking about those kind of things. So, but the truth is, our professionalism and other things will make us, and culture will make us not to be able to be accountable to an extent. Not because we are hiding things, but because it is, to me, I think that it is cumbersome to want to be burdening people for everything.
Okay,
people are tired.
Good thing, Mr. Liu, being accountable to your spouse is a good thing, but it is not in all cases, especially with newly married couples. When a woman is new in marriage, she almost think of what is benefit her family. Luis is writing from okay, you see,
You see where somebody's coming from.
Good evening to you all in the studio. Accountability is relative to families. Too much accountability is a common source of conflicts in most homes. Spouses should be accountable to only very important issues that may affect the family. Gemo Elvis writing from Etugebe in Yaoundé. Good evening to you, Elvis. Oops. Yeah, some issues. Yes. What are you insist that we should be accountable 100%?
No, I didn't say 100%, Salio.
Okay, to some extent.
Why
I
are
said
you putting another one out now?
no. Apostle, ever since we
Don't
did this
remove
profile-
something though.
No.
You have to be accountable all.
No, Apostle. You're indicting me now. I said, on issues that are consequential, you need to be accountable, and I want to repeat that it is very important.
Okay.
You see, talking about the aspect of being accountable, and there tends to be a downside or a disadvantage. The issue is that many people look at it that way because you have not yet measured the disadvantages that come with that. Look at it this way. We are talking about somebody who has grown from a cultural background that does not accommodate accountability, and we are saying that you should just leave the person like that, let the person begin to function that way. No, it can't be so. You must get to the point where you let somebody understand that these are the disadvantages of closing up on some things. You see, and one thing I know is that when something is cloudy, when something is in the dark, is blanketed, that's where the enemy has the greater potential in finding expression in it.
Why when you call it cloudy? I want you to just wave some things, not necessarily cloudy.
I'm saying that now. When you talk about cloudy,
yes.
I'm talking about a case where, let's say, your wife is there trying to suspect how much you earn, for instance. He's trying to suspect how you move. She's trying to suspect that this person you're talking with often should it be or might it be. That's what I'm saying. It's cloudy. Okay. There is no clarity as to whom the person is.
Okay. But in that case, you have to now clarify.
Good evening. My name is.
There's a consent.
Good evening. My name is Pastor Odnell. I'm writing from Boya Central Prison. I'm following the program on my Media Prime Live. Please, I want to request for Apostle Esingie's number to reach him. Please, he is my father in the Lord, and I'm in prison as we speak. Please help me request his number. Okay. We pray that God that took is it Paul and Silas out of the prison will also take you out of the Boya Central Prison. Good evening at the studio. To me, not everything should be known by his wife because it may create problems. This is because these two spouses don't come from the same culture. Women like favoring their families. Thanks. I'm Kum Dixon, writing from Suza. Okay, Dixon. Good evening, Mr. Leo. The topic is an important one. Couples need to be very accountable to each other in order to build trust and healthy marriage. The absence of accountability will also lead to unstable homes. Sorry, I'm Mr. Dewola in Kekem. Good evening to you, Mr. Leo. Please, when you decide to withhold an information from your spouse because you're afraid they may not handle it, wouldn't it be more disastrous if they get that same information from a third party? Clovis is writing from Messager. This one says, Mr. Kum, what will you do if you married because you desire to have children and you get married to a woman who has had a problem with the uterus? Okay. If you are a responsible husband or wife, then you are responsible, and this is very good. Another challenge in accountability in marriage is just as a result of how the couple started. Each couple is unique from another. What matters is how happy the couples are. John is writing from Banyo. I think it's better you use some women or some men, not women and men. When you generalize, I think it's not the right one. Okay. Yes. Good evening, Mr. Kum and others. Accountability is very important because it brings confidence, transparency, responsibility, and most essentially a sense of direction and definitely success. Boo Emmanuel is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening to you all. I truly love this program. I wish my husband was here to follow. These accountability issues, to me, it depends on trust, because with all my sincerity, he can never trust me. So it's really difficult one here. Writing from Yaoundé. Yes, I asked the question of trust now, because if we trust, I don't know how. Good evening, Mr. Leo and co-panelist Dixon from Limbe. To me, accountability is communication. When there is communication in the relationship, it flows, okay? Good evening, Mr. Leo. Does the topic cover regimes like polygamy? If yes, then the husband has a right to choose what to share in common with each wife. For a polygamous regime, couples should not have anything to hide. Bailey is writing from Bamenda. Thanks. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the men of God. It's good for couples to be accountable, but when it comes to giving every details to all the activities is what I don't buy. In my case, I have a husband who doesn't talk much, so I don't expect him telling me everything, and I'm okay with that. I understand his character and our marriage flows well. Immaculate is writing from Bamenda. Hello, I have a request. What can we say about wives who keep secrets with their friends, and the friends are the ones who know about their financial transactions? Meanwhile, the husband isn't aware. Keep me, okay? You're writing from Boya. Good evening to you all in the studio. Mr. Liu, I really like the program. Jeffrey Akam is writing from Limbe. Good evening to you. Accountability for me is based on trusts and understanding. Damaris is writing from Bomenda. Good evening to you, Damaris. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Deep from Yaoundé. In marriage, the man is not fully accountable to the woman, but on the other hand, the woman has to be fully accountable to the husband. Reasons being that in the African culture, the man stands a king in the house, and there are certain risks and decisions that man has to take single-handedly for general interest. The moment you start vomiting everything to your wife, in this present generation, they try to follow up and control your doings in all aspects, okay? Good evening, Mr. Liu and members of the panel. A very interesting topic. Mr. Liu, where is apostle? Okay, I believe men are more accountable to their wives, but women hide every single franc. Okay, yet the women are the ones who want everybody to be accountable. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Some people have died untimely just because they tell their partner the money they have somewhere. Okay, how did they die untimely? Because they told their wives where money was. Good evening, Mr. Liu and the panelists. I'm so delighted to write today's topic. It's very interesting. But talking accountability in our marriage, and the panelist seems to be laying so much emphasis on the fact men are to be more accountable than women, which of course I disagree. Women have to be accountable even more than the men because they are green snakes in green grass. Hoffman Abongwa is writing from Yaoundé. We are going straight to our second topic for tonight, which has to do with the issues of side chicks. Funny. Most of the comments are very funny, Reverend. Yes, side chicks and the squabbles becoming more rampant today. Do you agree that we have many more stories of the main wife in the house fighting other girls with whom the husband is going out with?
Actually, Mr. Liu, our atmosphere is really is not conducive at all.
It's saturated.
It's saturated with a lot of evil and a lot of negative news and negative happenings in light of this issue of side chicks. Recently, we've had cases of somebody who is not even married to the man attacking somebody in the name of a side chick. So those are some of the things that we are here to decry as well. You know, one thing we first want to even point out is when you talk, because here we're talking about the wife and a side chick.
Yeah.
We want to first of all discourage that men, when you are married, be married and concentrate on your wife, concentrate on your family. Your wife and your children need you. Forget about this issue of running behind young girls, especially those who live in the university environments. They run behind university girls and keep them, pay rents for them, and they barely give food money back at home and call them side chicks, you know, and get their wives enter into emotional pain and so on. I don't know whether for the women it's side cock, but this issue I think is something to decry. You see, the aspect of having a side chick, we discourage it, but if you must have, which we discourage you from having, you make sure that your wife is protected, your wife is respected. Some women actually end up reacting because, not only because they have the emotional pain of knowing that they are sharing their man with somebody, but they are disrespected. You see, there are some men who come back home at 1 a.m. or they sleep out not because they had some business doing, but because they were on the laps of a side chick. So, if you must have one, make sure that your wife is respected to the latter. 2, make sure that your wife, you know, is protected. There are side chicks that can stand at nothing. They can stop at nothing, eliminating your wife so that they can take her place.
Yes.
So these are things that we must be very careful about. In that, the little pleasure you go and have with one girl outside there is not commensurate to the life of a woman you got married to, who has mothered your children, losing her life because some unscrupulous girl sees that she is more qualified to be your wife than the woman you are married to.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is good to really do the best we can. Men, as you know, we often hear people say men are polygamous by nature. But men also are supposed to be men by virtue of the principles they keep. If you are a man who has his set of values and principles, you can be able to stay without, you know, cheating on your wife and having these side chicks. You know, this thing is it becomes more complicated and more challenging. In that, you know, if your husband cheats on you as a one-off thing, is different from having a deuxième bureau. You see, a man who maybe traveled for work and for one reason or the other, he fell into the temptation of sleeping with another woman who is not his wife, is different from somebody who perpetually keeps a woman, paying her rent, you know, sponsoring her, and, you know, spending much more time with her than maybe with his family. So this thing has a potential of bringing a kind of emotional hurt to a woman who maybe decided that she wants to be faithful and loyal to her husband. Yeah.
Now, these stories are now very recurrent. Is it that men cheat more today, or the wives are becoming the more smarter to be able to understand that there is a side chick here and there?
The
men cheating more than they used to do?
No, the men have been given maybe the rights by the society to cheat than the women. Yes, because they said, better be man picking cheat than say me woman a cheat. Better be man picking a cheat than say me woman cheat. Those kind of statements, you always hear them every day and so on. And we always have this concept, like you see, I was surprised to also see that Reverend Kenneth was giving an advice that if you must, you know, cheat. Yes, if you must cheat, you know, he is giving an advice about that.
Why are you surprised about that advice?
No, because Reverend Kenneth, on the kind of person I know him to be, he will not give that kind of advice. And, you know, he is trying to be Moses at this time. Moses, because of the hardness of your heart, permitted you to be Moses. That's what I'm talking about.
You know, but you didn't forget the fact that I began by first of all saying it is completely discouraged.
I understood, but I'm saying that I was just thinking that you could maintain the pace at which you have spoken.
You know, some people, Satan himself is working in them that they cannot do anything.
It's highlighting when the phrase you made that if you must.
If you must, that's exactly what I'm trying to talk. You know, if you must, it just simply means that we're trying to explain when you are in a society where you don't just know what to do about it. Even the government is so conscious about it. Pastors are having their second wife somewhere, and some people are very discreet about it. Very, very discreet. It has nothing to do with their home. It has nothing to do with their marriage, but it just has something to do with him and the side chick. That one is very common today, at least for professionals who have the means. The means to take care of the deuxième bureau. If you don't have the money, you don't have the means, you cannot go to that extent. And many people are trying to do catch up. You see, Mr. Leo, a lot of people are trying to do catch up, which in psychology they call it regression. what they did not do when they were younger. Now they have the money to do it, so they are bound to do it. That is why they say you can never taste a man when he doesn't have money. You can only taste him when he has money. Money to do what he wants to do at the time he wants to do it, and do it the way he likes. You see, Reverend Kenneth, we have lived in a society where we understand a lot of things. It's just like you try to tell yourself today that you're going to pass through the Douala Road going to Southwest, and then you will not hold extra money in your pocket to give for those. There are some people who stand around the at the end. When you are you want to leave Douala and you are entering Bekoko, you pass Bekoko and you are trying to go towards Southwest. There are some people there that have decided to stand. They say they are road control, so road safety. You already know that you must hold money because they will look for any means to take money from you. That is what is happening today. Go to Bonaberi here, you will discover it. They are looking for any small fault for you to have. Let them hold you down. That's the same thing like the side chick issue. We're in a society where you just prepare for it. Every woman is just having to prepare for that. That if he come, we go do how? Just manage him. Sometimes the side chicks even know, sometimes the wife even know the side chick, and they even pull along. They pass the grit. They pass, yes. Because she doesn't want trouble. She doesn't want problem at her own end. But it is really pathetic. It is really, are there not a lot of us that know the side chick of our pastors? Yes, side chick of our elders, side chick of our leaders. So many of us, we know those things. And sometimes what do? You just tell yourself, how do I do it? We had a situation there in one of the places where we're pastoring. There was this senior pastor in town who was, he preaches a lot about holiness and everything. But we realized that he had his side chick somewhere that when he needed arrow, he wanted to eat, he go to the girl's house and eat arrow and go back. And I'm sure he did not tell the wife that he's eating arrow from that house, because when you eat arrow like that, before you discover you have eaten the other things. So that's why we're trying to talk about the society where it is already accepted. Side chicken is accepted and it is almost legalized. I'm thinking that someday the government will want to legalize the side chick to tell people that, okay, you must marry 3 wives, 4, 5 wives.
Okay.
Yes. Those kind of things.
We're going to give 7 minutes for persons to call and tell us what they think about the side chick, how you should treat them. But before we do that, let us get the first intervention on this topic of Mr. Asanji Yvette from Bamenda.
Good evening once more, Mr. Leo. We know that now trending is the aspect of side chick, main chick, full chicken, and stuff. So sometimes 2 side chicks are fighting and it's like, no, I am the main chick, you are the side chick, and stuff. So even if you're staying with a man and the man has not paid your bride price, you are still a side chick. You can maybe be considered a main chick just because you are in that man's house, but you are not a wife. You are just a main chick. So how do we manage? How should wives manage this aspect of side chicks in marriage? Now, like most men will always say that they are polygamous in nature, this and that, so it makes them run after women and stuff. Sometimes some of those side chicks are very provocative. They know very well that you are the wife of this man that they are dating. Yet they will do everything to provoke you. They will do everything to challenge you. Sometimes they might even challenge you with their shape. Okay, you have put to bed, maybe you've worn out. God forbid, nobody has ever worn out. Okay, but maybe you've grown kind of maybe chubby and stuff, and so she's the slay queen. So she can try to challenge you even in public, make you know that no, your husband is hers. In those kind of cases, if you happen to have such a kind of side chick, please, there is always no reason confronting a side chick. Okay, even though there might be mature ones that you can meet them and you both talk very maturely. But in a case where you see your spouse maybe dating one of these teenagers or young girls, if you dare approach them, you're going to make it becomes to them, they don't even have shame or disgrace. So they can blow out the whole thing and it becomes drama. It becomes a center of attraction where every other person now starts talking about it. So when it comes to side chicking or side chick business, The highest thing is you talk with your spouse at home. Yes, do everything possible to stay away from the side chick. Don't even make them think like you are feeling the pain they are giving you, because some will make sure that you feel the pain, and when they see you feeling that pain, they feel happy that they're giving you that pain. So don't even make them feel like you are giving them, or they're in pain, or you are in pain. Sorry.
We want to thank you, Mr. Sanji. I'm going to open the lines for you to call. Please, how should we manage situations of a man who has side chicks, and also ladies? There are some ladies who have side, I don't know whether they have side cocks. How should we manage them, especially those very provocative ones? You call, when you call, you move away from your screen, you give your name and where you are calling from and your contribution. Hello? Hello? Okay. Hello? Hello? Oh. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Leo.
Yes, good evening.
Evening?
Yes, your name, where you are calling
Yes,
from, and your contribution.
Mr. Leo, I'm Mr. John from Mutengene.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Leo, I'm Mr. John from Mutengene.
Go on, we're listening.
Yes? Yes? I love.
Mr. John, please, if you call, can you stay away from your screen? Don't listen to what you are saying before. Hello?
Good evening, Mr. Leo.
Good evening. Your name, where you are calling from, and your contribution.
This is remind me from Boya.
Okay.
Well, I think of this issue is that the first thing as a man, if you must have a side chick, respect your woman. Women are more like blessings to you. You cannot have a woman in the house who has been suffering when you have struggled with taking care of your children, taking care of you. Then you leave the house with 2,000, give her 2,000 francs, while you give a side chick 5,000 francs to cook. Respect your woman. If you must have a side chick, your woman should be your priority first. Respect your woman.
Okay.
That's my contribution.
Thank you. Hello, good evening. Hello? Hello? Call us. Don't know. Good evening. Your name, where you are calling from?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Leo.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I think to me, there is no difference between side chick and a thief. Side chick to me is just the same like a thief.
Okay.
Either you are the real person or you are a thief. Anyone that comes through the seller's door is a thief.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's any special treatment that should be given to the side chick. Special greetings to my sweetheart, Wala Tivavin, and all the listeners. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, Mr. Leo.
Yes, your name and where you're calling from?
Good evening, Mr. Leo.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, hello?
Go on, please.
Yeah, this is Brother Celestine from Bethlehem.
Okay.
Yeah, hello?
Go on, Celestine.
Yes, Mr. Leo, the problem is that, when you get married with a couple, you have to maybe be truthful, because it's not obvious to have another wife outside. It's not good. Good to you, Mr. Leo. I love the program. I'm from Bethlehem, Mr. Leo. Good evening.
Hi, it's Bethlehem, Three Corners.
No, Three Corners is good, Mr. Leo.
Okay, greet everybody there for me.
Yeah, Mr. Leo. Good evening.
Yeah. Hello?
Mr. Leo.
Yes.
It's from Bamenda.
Go on.
Yes, my contribution is that if you must have a side chick, you should respect your wife in the house. It should not be an aspect that you give room for the side chick to disrespect your wife in the house. Because there are some men, I don't know if it is childishness or how. You have a side chick outside and you have your wife in the house. You answer the call of the side chick in the presence of your wife, those are the times that are really aching. But if in a case where you have a side chick and you respect your wife in the house, you tell the side chick, you don't call me at this time. I'm a married man. I think for me, that one is preferable because you give respect for your wife. Thank you.
Okay, thank you too. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, your contribution, please.
Okay. My own contribution is that to have a side chick is not correct. Hello.
Yes, go on, right on.
Yes, to have a side chick is not correct because my name is Fred Fang from Mutengen.
Okay.
Yes. To have a side chick is not correct because the government has legalized polygamy. So if you want to have, if you have the appetite to have many wives, you can go ahead and marry the many wife. So, or you respect your monogamy wife in the house. For me, side chick should not be existing.
Okay. Hello? Hello? Oops. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Liu.
Yes, your name and where you're calling
Yes, Celestine Nisiba from Befang.
Wow. Yes, Celestine.
Yes, the program is very good. Mr. Liu, the problem is that, when you fear God, you do everything right. Because to have a polygamy, hello?
Yes, Celestine, land, please.
Yeah, from Befang.
Yes.
Yes, the program is very good.
Thank you.
What I'm saying is that when you fear God, you happen that to have polygamy home is not good.
Okay.
Mr. Leo, you're a man of God, and you know that it's not good to have polygamy, Mr. Leo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're going to stop taking calls here. You have listened to some of the worries raised, Reverend. Some people say you must do respect the wife in the house, but how about those who are already into it and have these very daring side chicks?
The issue is that
we should not even venture into
yes,
it.
I was meant to understand that you might not be able to stop birds from flying above your head, but you can stop them from perching on your head.
Okay.
Yes. Honestly, what makes a man is not because he has male genital organs. What makes a man is the values, the set of values that incarnates him. What makes a man is the principles. So most often some people out here will be having these side chick issues and be saying that they were tempted into something. I think if you can draw your lines, you can't marry a woman and put in your house and you decide that the best thing you can do is to be cheating on her. And most of the time, you see, the people they cheat on their wives out there may not even be a match to their wives. So you just said there's maybe some evil forces at work in the lives of some of the people. So I think if you're doing it, listening to us this evening, dear viewer, we want to advise you to desist from cheating on your wife, from keeping side chicks. And if it's something that you are helpless about it, you can get a man of God to talk with you, to counsel with you, and pray with you about. Because we don't also refute the fact that there are spirits that sponsor these things. There are some people who might not normally want to do them, but they get involved and get engulfed in some of these things because they are acting under impulsion. The aspect of these side chicks who are being daring, you see, they also need to be talked to. You are listening to us and you are a side chick, you are, you are confiscating, I want to put it this way, you are confiscating somebody's husband. Maybe you won't marry in the future, but if you marry, what happened to the goose may happen to the gander as well. The same thing you have done to somebody's husband may be done to you. So know that the law of karma exists pretty much. So the best thing you can do is, if you are still single and you're still trusting God for your own husband, don't enroll your name into the list of this side chick thing. What you can do is keep your chastity, keep your reservation, and trust God to get married. Some side chicks are still side chicks today because they appear to be occupied, of which they are not occupied. When you are with a man and the man is keeping you and sleeping with you, paying your rent and all the like, it looks like you are married. That can make a potential husband stay away from coming to propose marriage to you because you appear like somebody who is already married. So we also want to advise that this aspect of side chick management, in fact, there are three parties involved. You as the woman, you as the man, and you as the side chick. Society too comes in as a fourth entity. As a man, what you do is keep yourself from getting involved, because the temptation is when you get involved in it already, stopping becomes more challenging, because at times some of these side chicks have a way of how do I put it? They have a way of inducing you and making you to feel very comfortable with them. They don't have the pressure your wife has back at home. She has you to take care of. She has the kids to take care of. She may not have the time to make up the bed and put flowers on it and spray the perfume that this side chick does, because she is all alone. She has nothing to take care of. And then you as the woman, if it has happened, don't also go gaga. Don't go fighting people like the case we had in Boya recently. You see, when you go into attacking people to the point where you inflict assault on them, you will be running into prosecution in front of the law, which you could avoid by being temperate. There are some times you can get your husband know that he has done this, and you have a way of keeping yourself in maturity, and you talk with him, and I know it hurts. It's emotionally hurting. I will repeat that, especially for those women who have taken a resolution to say they will keep themselves only for their husband, and then somebody goes and is not only, has not only gone and slept with one woman, but has kept a side chick somewhere who goes and goes there frequently. So with that, you should not blow out of proportion and start fighting people and start, assaulting them, because when you do so, the law is going to put aside the issue of the fact that they were cheating on you and come for you in terms of, prosecuting you before the law for criminal and civil offenses. So the best thing you can do is you try to be temperate, try to control yourself and go gradually. We had a seminar sometime in Bonaberry, and one woman gave us a testimony which has been a blessing to me. When I share with the people, I think it is a good approach to adopt. The woman said the husband was cheating on her, and she decided and knelt before God and prayed a prayer that, God, going forward, when my man goes out and cheats on me with another woman and wants to cheat on me with another woman, he should not erect. And God respected that prayer. When the man goes with a woman, the man will not erect. When he comes back to her, he will erect. So there are some times that some of these battles, you don't engage in physical warfare. You can get into spiritual warfare. I'll go back to also talk about these side chicks themselves. You cannot make yourself to be, imagine that some of them cry on Valentine's Day because maybe for one reason or the other they thought the man was going to have time with them at Valentine, but knowing that she is a spare tire, the man will have an ultimatum from the wife that you are not leaving this house today, and then she remains as a third person singular and begins to get to hurt. So it makes you look cheap.
Okay. Good evening. Being accountable in a relationship means acknowledging the effects your behaviors have on your partner and owning how you contribute to the negative cycle. A relationship is a two-way street. It's never one person's fault that the relationship has not worked or is not working. So accountability is very good, but should have its limits. Like for one, I have a woman who doesn't talk too much. KF at Samo from Bambili in Bomenda. Okay, you won't force her to talk now. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Your programs are always very interesting and educative. You people are doing a great job. I think accountability should just be about honesty and transparency, not like one is being forced to do so, because some partners might start telling lies just because they want to be given accounts. Okay. Please, I just wish to ask if everything is okay with Apostle Ambe. Apostle Ambe took a sabbatical to rest, so he's fine. For some time now, he hasn't been on the program. Gwen is writing from Garwa. Yes, he took a sabbatical. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Accountability is a two-way direction, but some couples have sacred box, and if discover that where trust bursts out, okay? The apostle is really telling the truth when couples leave. Naps Karika writing from Tico, Mr. Liu, side chicks are there at the spare of your wife if she does not give total satisfaction at home. That's why side chicks come up. Vis-a-vis wives have side guys also. Okay, I think we should discuss this on the day. The side guys of women. Yes, the side guys of our wives now. Good evening, Mr. Leo, and to all the men of God in the studio. I love this topic of today as usual. I dislike the word cheating. Why get married that you wouldn't stay faithful? Please, married men, stay quiet in your homes. The rate at which married men talk to girls nowadays is alarming. In a week, if 7 people talk to me, 6 are married men. And married men bring what we call bad luck. And unmarried boys, men don't approach because of these married men. It's Sandra writing from Douala. Why do you think so? Good evening to you all in the studio. Please permit me ask this question. Is a wife supposed to be angry if her man has a relationship with another girl, knowing that she signed polygamy in her marriage, putting at the back of our minds that all marriages begin with relationship? Ewane is writing from Bafia. A side chick are concerned there are married women who are financially stable, and because they have at the back of their minds that men must cheat, immediately they have their children, they start ignoring their husbands and ignoring their sexual desires. The husbands are bound to look for side chicks. And okay, Anonymous is writing from Boya. Good evening again, Mr. Leo. To stop men from keeping side chicks, wives should respect and quarantine their husbands within their laps and constantly innovate themselves for their husbands to constantly see them as new products to buy and consume. With these side chicks who lost their places in the society. Gemo Elvis is writing from Yaoundé. Good evening, sir. What about a woman who you are doing business with her and she makes the workers not to communicate with you? Mr. Eric is writing from Yaoundé. That is too bad. The woman needs to repent and yes, repent. My name is Vera. I'm talking in Kumba. I'm newly married, so I'm enjoying this program. Thanks. Thank you very much. Now, Success from Kribi says she does not want to hear about Mr. Liu. I don't like to hear this issue of side chicks because of what I have gone through in their hands before now. Okay. Yes, Success, if you want to share your story, I will take the lines, open the line just for you. If you can call, I'll take the line just for you. Yes, but no, side chicks are there because people are available. Some men go out there also because the homes are not very comfortable. You have said this so many times here. That yes. The woman should also make their house very, very adorable so that the man would always want to come back home.
Yes, but that is very normal, especially career women and professional women. They really have to really upgrade and see how to multitask. Multitask in the sense that they can balance their home and also balance their job. You can't be building your job at the expense of your home. Because at the end of the day, the man looks left, looks right, is bound to go out for side chicks. But now let me tell you something. Many of us think that side chicks are there just to take from the man, or the man rents house for the side chick and everything. There are some rich side chicks. They're the ones taking care of the men. That's just it. You should know that. There are some responsible side chicks. They're the ones doing all the things. They're the ones calling you, cook food for you with their own money.
Are these ones advisable?
No, I'm telling you that because people may be in that situation. People may be in that situation where it is the side chick taking care of them. Why the wife in the house does not do anything towards that. You know, the man struggles everything in the home, but with the wife, but the side chick takes care of him. Now, do you know that so many side chicks are good more than the wives in the home? So many of them. What happens is that these are advanced ladies who really wanted to have somebody around them. that they can feel their warmth, they can get their respect as they are seeing somebody around. Because to some women it is really like a taboo for people not to see anybody around them, so they just want to get the man. As a result, they are forced to take care of the man, clothe the man, give the man everything he needs, and even advise the man on how to take control over his marriage.
Hello?
Yes.
Good evening, Success. How are you?
I'm fine. I hate this issue of side chick because what I've gone through in their hands before now. So I just hear all this side chick, I just feel like falling down and dying at the same time. Because my husband will go and stay with the girl outside. The girl will take my husband's phone, remove my number there and start calling me, sending me messages. So I just hate the issue. I don't even in fact, I don't like the idea of side chick. And I'm still planning the day I'll handle one. What they get in Boyazit, I'm not even sure. I'll do worse than what. And it's not only one girl, not two. It's not one, not two. When we have an issue in the house, my husband will go and tell the side chick. Imagine, and then she'll use that against me. She start calling me, insulting me. So I'm waiting. I have a gun around me. I'm waiting. I have the program.
Yeah, like you see what this is saying here now. The man is comfortable to talk to the side chick than the wife at home.
Not one side chick.
Yes, she should be able to ask herself questions. Why can't she upgrade to become what? Okay, now what she's doing now, she's instead building a bitter situation, which will not help that marriage, because there will be a day that you want to go against that side, those side chicks, they can come for you. And sometimes they can come for you to kill you because you are intending to kill them. They are writing to you one or two because they are making a mockery of you. The mockery of you is that what? You are not upgrading yourself. We have been saying here that women should build capacity. That even if a woman wants to call you to insult you, you will not see anything to talk about. Keep yourself clean, keep yourself good, so that even if these women want to communicate and they want to make a mockery of you, they will see that you are even better than them. So women usually do that because they see that they have control over your husband's emotion, they have your control over your husband's psychology and everything. Why won't we work on this thing? Like you see, Reverend Tatoh, you talked about something that this woman prayed that when the husband goes out to go and have sex, let him not have erection. Do you know that there are men that when they are with their wives, they cannot have erection, but when they go out, they will have erection there? That's it. That's what is happening in so many places, that women need to sit up and find out what is really happening. They should be able to upgrade and put themselves in order. Why should my husband not have erection when he's with me?
Hello?
Yes?
Yes, Mr. Liu.
Yeah?
Listen to you, all the panelists in the studio.
Okay.
Yes. So, the problem is that problem of side chick is very dangerous. That is the main thing that is killing people nowadays. So it's not good. As a true Christian, it's not good. So when you get married to your wife, be steady with your wife, so that even at old age you still have that love.
Okay, madam. Thank you. Have you landed?
No, I was talking that you caught up on that, but he wants to say something.
Yeah, I wanted to get Success to share experience. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, no, I wanted to cue in what Apostle was saying, but to say in context, this might not be very relevant in that this woman's husband is a serial cheat. It's not that he is glued to one woman, so that we can say maybe he has found a woman that is over and above the wife he's married to. If somebody is Elizabeth, Josephine, Erica, that already is a point that that man is an irresponsible man. If it was one, at least you can start thinking that maybe you can advise the woman to upgrade on some things. But when it has gotten to a point where the man is here and there, already that is a very big problem. And such things we will be very glad that if we are discussing and the couple is together, so that the man who is listening to this, it is going to be very helpful, because you cannot marry a woman. And one thing that people must understand is that when you marry somebody and the person is deficient, you people can put your hands on deck and upgrade. If the woman has some issues, you can hold her hand.
That's a case where people want to learn. There are some people who are
Hello?
really adamant.
Hello? Hello? Oops. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good evening.
It's Clarence now. Hello?
Stop clearance, please. Okay. Mr. Leo, for me, that thing called side chick is know how to deal with them. I know them and they know me. In my case, I got their chops to take things there, and after that, I will say it's my husband that sent me. That's how I deal with them, without my husband even knowing. It's Damaris writing from Bamenda. Damaris, I don't know what it took to them. Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Good evening, Mr. Leo.
Evening.
That man of God that is encouraging side chicken there, what is his name, please?
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Leo.
Yes? Good evening.
Well done in this video.
Thank you.
Yes, what you people are saying, you are really right, but you people misunderstood that not all the women are bad. What about my own side that my husband had a side chick, and when I discover it abandoned us with the children and everything and go away till now. 4 years today, he has not been taking care of the children. He has not been asking anything. What about that one? Was I being naughty or whatsoever? So not all these women, men are the way they are.
Okay, well, we are very sorry for the situation, especially the fact of abandoning your family for a side chick. But some of these things also are spiritual, eh?
Yes, this thing has a lot of spiritual implication in many things. And some people these things are coming from their background. If you want to check, that is a trend in your family, that these things have been happening. And some of you are really not prayerful enough to scare away some of these spirits. Like this young girl who is trying to ask and saying that somebody is supporting side chicking. That is why I want people to sit down and listen to us when we talk. We are balanced in what we say so that the society would pick up from what they want to learn and learn. If you think that somebody is supporting side chicken here, you are making a mistake, because we are trying to be balanced. Do you want us to be religious? We can talk about God here. We can talk about holiness to the extreme, and it is same you people that will insult us. That is because we are pastors. That is what we don't do. We are talking about a situation where, like, you see, I was saying that I was even surprised that Reverend Kenneth was trying to approve some things, but because we are trying to be balanced, trying to let you know that these things are common in the society where we are. There is no way you can do about it. They are there. They are everywhere. Even church people, they are doing it every day. As you are talking like that, maybe you also have a side guy. Those kind of things.
Hello?
So you don't do that.
Hello? Wow. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Leo.
Yes, Gertrude, good evening.
Hey, good evening. The program is going to be live.
Yes, the program is live.
I said live. Hello, Mr. Leo.
The program is live.
Okay. Yes, this is Leo. There's this, yes, Mr. Leo. There's this problem that women are facing. Women are usually, they'll be honest, they'll stay at home, they'll take care of a man, they'll do everything for a man, but yet they still go to cheat. But the Bible says that a man will leave the husband, the father, and then look for his wife, and the wife will leave. And the wife will leave the parents' house to go and live as a husband and wife to come out with their own family. But yet, when the wife will do everything for that man, but the man will still go out to cheat. So is that what God is telling us, or is that what it means by being together as husband and wife?
Okay, Gertrude, thank you for calling. From whom? I guess. Are you in whom?
Yes, Mr. Leo.
Okay, greet everybody there for us.
Okay, Mr. Leo.
Yeah, good night. Okay, I will stop the calls. Quite very disturbing. I want us to share with what some persons are expressing, so that we shed light. Let people not have a different impression on what we are discussing.
Exactly, exactly.
Good evening to all in the house. I wish to say that Apostles is on the right track. He is blunt in what he says. That is reality. Auntie Math is writing from Kumba. Okay. You are declining my calls. Don't you want me to participate? Clifford Ntubang writing there. You take other calls. Is this Clifford? There are so many calls coming. Please. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and your wonderful panelists. I have learned too much from your panelists, but it's not complete. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to all panelists. There is not a day I won't learn from your topics being brainstormed on by your ever-ready and intelligent panelists. This is writing from Kumba. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I love the topic. I believe it's good to be accountable to your spouse. Right now, I'm struggling to solve a problem between my friend who is in Bamenda and the husband here in Kribi. Somebody called her husband to tell him, I saw your wife and Queen, and now it's causing a serious problem. But had it been, she told her husband that she would be around, I would have not been aching my head now. So it's good to be accountable to each other. Okay. Success says, Miss Asanji, you have said it all about the side chick thing. Mabison says, hi, Mr. Leo and the members of the panel. A very interesting topic. The side chicks issue is so alarming nowadays, but main chicks stay comfortable in your homes. After roaming, they will come back. Okay, good evening to you. This one says, do to others what you want others to do to you. I pity those girls that call themselves side chick because you block your star as a young lady by sleeping with somebody's husband. Okay. Eugenie Akwen writing from Douala. Good evening. As for me, I love my partner to tell me everything from the beginning of the relationship, no matter how painful it may be. Truth is very important. When a man starts sharing responsibility with a woman, he lost his respect. So a good woman will be one to support him. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I applaud your team. I think that this too much side chick thing is because of laziness. Girls don't want to work, but they want a gorgeous life, so they tend to do all things rubbish. I don't stand for side chick issues. Abstinence is possible by grace is available. My advice to all women who are doing side chick rubbish, abstain from sex, seek God's face for all their own husband. It's never too late to have a husband if you trust in God. Jean is writing from Yaoundé. Sandra says, I believe side chick proof good because they are looking for means to get into the house. The day that side chick will enter, become a wife, some of those good habits will gradually diminish. Being a side chick is a disgrace. Okay. Now, in the case where a wife actually has good information about the fact that the husband has one or two side chicks out there, what should the wife do?
Like I said, many of these women know these side chicks.
Okay.
And they have just decided to say, wait till a person will do. There's just nothing you can do about it. The worst one is even women who know that the husbands go to Sekui, to these small places where they pay 1,000 to sleep with women and all that. Those things are very common, because some men say that they prefer to go there than to go and keep one girl somewhere that they'll be paying much money. Those kind of things are happening. This is the kind of society where we are in, where people have already programmed their minds, and they said whatever. That was a lady just trying to tell you that prefers that the girl out there should respect the woman that is in the house. They are already telling you the measures that they are taking towards that. Now we are saying this because this side chick something, it's a common thing in this nation, especially in our sour areas. In our sour areas, it is very common. People of high profile, people of low profile is the same thing. A man cannot eat in his own house, but he's still having a side chick where he's struggling to see how to take care of that side chick. So these are the things where you cannot avoid in a society. But what do? We try to see how to, teach ourselves how to put our home and get ourselves responsible, keep ourselves busy, keep ourselves good. Now, look at something. Many of these men go out for these side chicks because of what they get from these girls. Because I think that if you don't get anything from a side chick, there will be no reason why you go out there. So why would these women not see how to cultivate some of the good habits at home? Because even the good girls who were good, by the time they get married, they start keeping themselves loose. They start keeping themselves careless, which makes the man want to go out. You don't care about your husband, you talk to him rudely, you insult him, and you say whatever you want to say, and then at the end of the day, some other woman out there talks nicely, and some of these side chicks are not far from your home. They are your neighbors. Some of them are your neighbors, and that's what many people don't even know. They are your neighbors, and they take good care and they talk nicely to your husband. At the end of the day, what do you think? Your husband will come back to the house with all the naggings and all the complaints and all the things. And
yeah, but there are some women who are actually very good, beautiful, and very
character.
Yes. Now, when you talk about this good character, you have not asked so many other things about good character. Men sometimes are more emotional. They want stars. When it comes to wife, they want to pick the good wives. But when it comes to emotional issues, they want to pick girls who are rough, who can accept to go any style at any time. There are some things that a woman in the house will not accept the man to do on her. But the man goes out there, the women are ready to turn upside down and turn gymnastics. Yes, these are some kind of things. No, run, Mr. No run. Because these are the things. You say good woman how? A woman that is too rigid, she is too careful, she is too snobbish, and she feels that she is loving and kind and everything. But when it comes on the bed, you know, you are not active, you are not learning ways to make your man feel good, you know. After you feel sometimes you even tell him that it's boring, I don't like it. But the other person out there is saying that, oh, you're wonderful, oh, you can, oh, I like you, please don't leave me, please come back, please this. They are begging. Men always want respect.
Is it not also because they are looking for ways to enter the house just to turn the other way around?
Yes, whatever they means, whatever they are trying to do. Of course, there are some good women too who are side chicks.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Good evening to you all. It's a good debate, but I believe we should do to others what we expect others to do unto us. Stop calling, please. I won't take the call. Stop calling. We should do to others what we expect others to do unto us. Men always think the grass is greener on the other side. Diana is writing from Boya. Good evening. What about a girl you have been with and she's running away to sleep with you? Do you think that girl loves you? Julio is writing from Amanda. Good evening to all in the house. Thanks for the practical topic. I want to encourage women who might be going through this devilish act called side chick to calm down, trust God, and pray hard for God's intervention. Most of these single ladies are agents from the kingdom of darkness. There are some women who are up to task, but their husbands still go out. God's wrath awaits them. Lily is writing from Abamanda. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Is it right for a man to address his female friends that way he addresses his wife at home? Okay. Good evening, Mr. Leo. In marriage, I think two things are involved. A man who fears God and who serve God is Kyrian from Amanda Ngomgam, and I am with my wife watching. God bless your family. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Side chick might be there because your wife's inability to bear you a child. Edwin is writing from Yaoundé. Hi, Mr. Liu. Side chick issues shouldn't be news or cry in a society that promulgates polygamy. It may simply be seen as a process to bringing in another wife. The irony is that those crying out are rather they come with stay and polygamous women than those in monogamy. Ato is writing from Bamenda. Mr. Leo, please help me ask the pastor if he's sure he does not have a side chick outside. Because he's talking like an experience. Apostle. They say you have experience in these matters. Yes.
There is something I really want to say. You see, there are some people who are taking this thing lightly. The implications are just too many. So some people, the aspect of thinking that it's been a very common thing in society and we appear to be validating it. That is, you know, for me, there is no margin of tolerance for this thing we're talking about. You are talking about a man who is married to a woman, who lives and goes and is sleeping with another woman, whom he is not the only person sleeping with her, and harvesting soul ties from her and bringing and pouring on the wife. Harvesting sexually transmitted infections and coming and pouring on the wife. There are some women, married women, who are always in the hospital to cure gonorrhea, syphilis, and all those other things. These are things that we should not be condoning. If you are married, be married. Forget about this thing we're talking about and say that it's been very common. It is not because something has become very rampant that we should validate it. Homosexuality is becoming very rampant. Are we going to validate it? So let's avoid talking about some things that are, in fact, it is wrong and it should be called wrong. The issue is that when we are talking about somebody married and then having a side chick, and it looks like we should rationalize. There is no rationality about it. If your wife is deficient, work with her. Gradually work with her. And I believe over time things are going to be sorted out. Because with this, some people are already wanting to look for a soft spot. They are wanting to look for a reason, a rationale to cheat on their wives because they think this woman is deficient in one way or the other. If she is deficient, you can take her along gradually. Okay. By the way, why were you married? Why could you leave all of those experienced women, leave all of those beautiful women, and then you go and marry somebody? Then it means that you have a problem.
Hello, Mr. Liu. It's unfortunate that some men are watching this program from the side chick's house. Same with some women watching from men's house that they are not married to. Okay, it's too bad. Good evening, Mr. Leo and the group. I really appreciate the brother by your right hand. Okay, he's speaking very well. Yes. Good evening. All I need is respect. Business partners sometimes become side chicks. Lovelyn is writing from Limberg. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm very happy with the program there in the studio. So you people are just saying the truth. I like the program. Keep on. Rainy is writing from Kumba. Stop calling, please. Okay. Sami writing from Douala. Please read this post above. Sami wants me to read this. He says, some of us are in existence because our fathers cheated on their wives, and you just back that cheating is bad. Did you know if all men were honest and faithful, most ladies would be single and die without children? Let's appreciate cheating men, including my dad. No. Anyway, from a worldly perspective, you may be right, because there are so many important persons that are impacting their lives who are products of cheating now.
Yes, that's what we call illegitimate children.
There are so many children who are impacting lives today who were gotten from illegitimate. If their fathers did not cheat, they will never exist.
This expression illegitimate child does not exist.
Okay.
Yes, there's nothing like illegitimate
child. So if you
cheat,
the child is legitimate.
You are the illegitimate parent, but the child is legitimate.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just that it's a child born out of wedlock. There is nothing like illegitimate child.
So how can you say that now?
No, Apostle.
It's an English word. Illegitimate is an English word now.
Illegitimate
in society, in the law.
Illegitimate. What is the meaning of illegitimate?
It means you did not marry the parents.
No, that is not the meaning of the word illegitimate, Apostle.
All right, then you tell us so that we can know.
The issue is that it was only adopted into the context of a child born out of wedlock. There is nothing like illegitimate child.
It was adopted.
It adopted. Not adopted by. If you want to go into, well, we are not in an English class, but if you want to go into the nitty-gritties of it, there is nothing like illegitimate child. This thing has to do with people who have gone and they've had a child out of wedlock. If you want to talk about illegitimacy here, it should be illegitimacy in terms of the parenthood and not in terms of the child. So what I'm saying essentially is that when people start bringing in some of these issues of that parents cheated.
Can you dedicate a child born out of wedlock?
Yes, I can.
You did them?
Yes.
But do you know that in churches they don't do that?
People who don't do that is because I don't know what is wrong with them.
In churches they don't
do that. The color of their problem, I don't know it. I don't know the color of their problem.
Okay.
The child has no. The child has just no fault.
So I have a good heart to my fiance. I really do not know. My parents feel that she is not good because she has given birth to two, but I don't blink in having her. So what can I do? I'm writing from Amanda. I'm called Abraham. I know she knows a lot about life, but I'm going in for her with a trust to myself, and from another country, and she's from Cameroon. Treat this topic of false marriages. I'm suffering for almost 5 years now. Can I get married to her without my family consent? Because I do love her. The brother who is writing from Amanda, can you write to me either after the program or tomorrow morning so that I will send you Miss Asanji's number? She's in Amanda. You meet her and talk with her. She will counsel you on what to do. We will have to end at this juncture. Thank you, Apostle, for coming.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. It was a good time. I want each and everyone to know that we must not be part of something before we talk about it. No, we are teachers. We read, we learn, we watch social media. We know what is happening in our society. So because of that, we can talk out things without necessarily being part of what is going on. That's exactly.
Okay. Thank you too for coming, Reverend. It was a tough one today. The messages are just, we can read the messages for the next 1 hour. Yeah.
You know, I'm glad we had time to share on this, Mr. Leo, and I believe that after this program, we're going to have a lot of prodigal husbands who go back home and stay with their wives and not be side-chicking.
Yes.
I think we should, the way people are responding and reacting to this topic, we should do a part 2 of this topic because almost everybody is bashing the men who are doing that. I think next week, if you're a man that the wife is cheating, call me and come here and share the experience. Let us be factual.
Yes.
You are bashing the
I have in the court there is a listener, a viewer that has sent something. Okay. So I'm not saying, I'm not revealing, but I'm just trying to say that talking about women who are also having side cocks is not something.
Apostle, please, can you just remind in the forum so that next week we should look at side guys or side cocks, the man and the side cocks, how to manage it.
Yes,
yes.
We'll look into that.
Then if I'm sure many men are going to call next week to share their experiences, how they are managing. Will you go and kill a man who is going out with who is going out
with your wife?
With your wife, yes. We want to thank you to Miss Asanji who took part in today's edition of the program from Amanda. Thank you all for watching, especially those who participated. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.